All right.
Right.
Good.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Simply Music Indie. Our guest today is going to be Brett Jolly. I'm sure you're very acquainted with all the different things that he does, but let me tell you a little bit about Simply Music Indie first. We focus on artists, past artists that are still doing things in today's world. They've had a lot of experience in the past, and they're still performing and still singing and they're on the radio and they're doing all the good things like they did way back then. And we want to bring this to the public so the public can know exactly what they're doing. And we also focus on new artists that are trying to get into the music world and the music industry. And we want our past artists, our older artists, to give them some information and some encouragement how to do that. So now I present to you Brett Jolly.
Hey everybody, how you all doing today?
Okay.
How are you today?
I'm doing good.
That's
And I want to welcome you to Simply Music.
It's a pleasure and honor to be here.
I want to welcome you to Simply Music Indie. Excuse me, Gilbert is telling me I need to move back. Am I okay now, Gilbert? Slide this way towards you.
That's fine, that's fine.
Okay,
And a
excuse
little
me,
bit of him
guys.
too.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
That's Gilbert, bass player.
Hello, y'all.
He's the man.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Gilbert. Gilbert, you want to say hi?
Hi.
All
Okay,
right.
Brett. I've known you for a long time, and ever since I've known you, you're just as busy as a bee. You're everywhere. If I go to a show, you're playing there. You're doing everything. So I want you to begin to tell us, first of all, what triggered you to get into music?
To be honest with you, it's kind of interesting. I started playing piano when my parents bought a piano home. I was 4 years old.
Oh,
The
okay.
very next morning, I was playing a song called "Stand By Me" on it.
Is that the old sound now?
Yeah, "Old Stand By Me."
Okay, yeah. By Drifters, right?
And I have no idea how I was playing it, and my mother didn't either. She came downstairs and showed me playing it. So I think at that point it was probably destined
Mm-hmm.
for me to play. I mean, I wanted to be a professional basketball player, to be honest with you.
Okay.
For some reason or other, the more I played music, the better. I mean, the more I played basketball, the better I got at music.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I can't figure that one out.
Okay, and so that's how you started out playing piano.
Yeah, well, I played piano at 4, and then, yes, and I did. And my brother, who's actually the keyboard player now,
Mm-hmm.
Bill Jolly, he now plays, he switched off. He's playing piano, he's playing keyboards, and I'm playing bass.
Okay.
But we'll tackle a little bit of everything if we need to. Whatever it is we need to do, I have no problem with it.
Okay, well, I know you got that funky bass going because
I try my best.
when I look up there, I say, who's playing that funky bass? And, oh, that's Brett. I should have known that was Brett.
As long as it's not who's hitting that bad chord.
Uh-oh, okay. Well, how did you select the bass as your instrument of choice?
That actually happened in, oh goodness, it might have been junior high. Somebody brought a bass guitar over the house.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason or other, I didn't even know the focus of it or what it actually sounded like. And I picked it up and I loved it. It was great. And then I played this song, which was probably simple to play, by Kool and the Gang back then, called Hollywood Swinging.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. I said, this sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was the school, Overbrook, at some point later on had a bass guitar there that I actually borrowed from them. And I started to play and do more.
Okay.
And it just led occasionally on to bigger and better things.
But did you actually play with Kool and the Gang? What's the first band that you played with?
First band I played with would be, oh goodness, that would have to be when I was playing piano. Me, my brother, and we had somebody playing congas. And I think we played for a little social gathering and we got $5 a piece. Somebody told me to do a gig now for $5. I'd have choice words.
Okay. Now, when you played for that first band,
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in it? Or did you audition? Did you guys just get together and put the band together?
No, I think what it was just somebody told us that we had this gig. My brother and I had been rehearsing.
Okay.
We used to go out on the front porch of our house on Webster Street.
Okay.
And we would play, and people would come to the front of the house and listen to us play. And it was great, so we did whatever we could do. But, it kind of just stemmed from then and just kept on going. Now whenever we go back, they the ones that are still there, they look at us like, you guys have done well, and we appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very, cool with that.
So now, on your shows, okay, and I've been to quite a few, and I enjoyed the sound. I enjoyed the sound.
Thank you.
I enjoyed everything about the show. Okay.
Mhm.
But one thing I enjoyed more than anything is the singing. When did the singing come about? I mean, you knock those songs out, and the thing about it, you knock them out, and you know all the lyrics, and you got the whole crowd rocking. How did that come about? The singing.
That's a very good question. Because to be honest with you, I never intended to be a singer. I only wanted to be a bass player, or play an instrument. That's basically where I was. I got to the point where I played with this reggae group one time, and the guy said, "Listen, why don't you sing something?" I said, "I'm not a singer." He said, "Why don't you go ahead and sing something?" I said, "I'm not a singer." And then finally, he got me to sing something, and it just started to hit. And I said, "Okay, you know what? This is not too bad after all." So then, after a while, what I started to do was, it's tough to like sing, play your instrument, look down at your instrument, and sing. So I looked at a video of me doing a variety club telethon, and I saw my head was down. I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to learn to play with my head up."
Okay.
And I'm going to, project. I'm going to play my instrument without having to look at it. And if somebody brings a camera around, I'm going to stick my face in it so they can see me.
Okay.
But also too, I said I'm going to learn how to sing and play at the same time, and that's what it is. And now, I'll attempt everything. I can't guarantee I'll sing everything, but I will attempt everything.
Well, you got those cover songs,
Hey,
so you must know quite a few of them.
I've learned. I can say I've probably learned more songs within the past couple of years than probably most people. I have a Wednesday night event that I do. I told the guy who runs it with me. Right. I said we're going to do a new song each week. I said, he looked at me like my head was about to fall off. And I just told him, I said, listen, this is what it's going to be. So in order for us to do a new song each week, if they're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I said, I'm learning this song. I want to do this. And, and we do it. But that's what people love about us. Even if it doesn't go according to plan, sometimes there's mistakes. We still attempt it and we'll do it. And,
it's fun. It's fun. It's really fun. And to see you on the stage performing with that great big smile and knowing that, hey, he enjoys what he does.
I do. Listen, there is no feeling. Michael Jackson once said there's no feeling like it in the world. And he is absolutely right. Whether you're doing a small gig or whether you're doing a gig with like 300,000 people, I love being able to perform. I'm going to tell you a little something about bass guitar. When I did it with Teddy Pendergrass, we were on tour. They gave me a riser. I had my riser to myself. I could do whatever I wanted to do. So basically what I did was I was on stage. I was playing as soon as I was jumping up and down, spinning all around. I was looking at women in the audience. Giving them a look, crazy stuff. I was bad, but I enjoyed myself because I was having fun.
You're having fun.
I was having so much fun. And, and it was like, it made me feel great. I was tired afterwards.
Yeah.
But I was fulfilled. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense to me. I've done it and I know the feeling.
Yes.
And, lots of times I would go out there and I would be afraid. I look at the crowd. I say, oh, look at all these people. But when I get out there, the people like they just disappear and I'm just enjoying myself.
I'm probably different because, I would probably get more nervous with maybe 2 or 3 people. But if you give me about 200,000 or 300,000, I'm in my element. I am so cool. It's not even funny. I'm like, you know what? I got this.
But tell me some of the artists that you've worked with.
Oh goodness, there are plenty of them. Let me think. There's, of course, Teddy. I was with Teddy for 6 years, Teddy Pendergrass. I've also played for a lot of people. The Whisperers I've played for, Joe Levert I've played for, Olivia Newton-John, Jill Scott. Oh man, there's Lettucey, Layla Hathaway. There are tons of them. Marilyn Davis, Billy McCool. Whatever they are, the Fifth Dimension people. There are a lot of them. And the thing is, I love. Each experience is always a different one. I got stories that people probably would want to hear.
Yeah.
And probably some that I won't tell.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, it's been a beautiful ride for me. and I'm hoping that it's nowhere near finished yet.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure, because you're going. How do you get all these gigs? I mean, do you have an agent, or do you?
No, I do not have an agent. I've never had an agent. Basically, you know, music is kind of like, you know, people need people who can, you know, do well, you know, basically hear well. I'm going to give you a perfect example. I did a gig with, ever hear of Angela Bofill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Angela. Yeah.
Okay. I got a call to play. I just come back from Hove the Beach. I got back about 4 o'clock in the morning. 6 o'clock, I had to go down to Atlantic City to play for Angela Bofill with no rehearsal.
Okay.
All right. Now, so what happened was, as soon as I got there, I'm in her hotel room, and she played a tape of her set. After she played a tape of her set, I listened to it and I went out and played it.
All right.
Because that's what I do. You know, being able to hear and record in your mind what you want to do musically is a great asset for any musician.
It's a gift.
And that's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that. You know, it's something that I always thought when I was younger that everybody had. Surprised to find that everybody did not. But to this date, you know, I use it for everything. I mean, technically, each week I probably do about at least 10 to 15 new songs that I've never heard before, you know, or never done before, or both. You know, and my thing is, my ear is geared that way because all I have to do is basically hear it once. If I know it, I'm going to play it. If I don't know it, I'm still going to play it.
Right.
Because, you know, my motto is tackle everything, play everything. And that's what I do.
That's what you do.
That's what I do. As long as somebody knows the song, I'll learn it on the spot. If they know it, I'll follow what they're doing. I had a gig once where I had to play an NJ Pack up in North Jersey. I had to play for an orchestra. So anyway, they wanted to do the song that, you know, we didn't even go over, but they put a chart in front of me, and I don't read music.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't going to tell them that I don't read music.
Okay.
so I'm sitting there, right? And I'm looking at the chart like, okay, all right, let's go with this, right? And they played the song, and I listened as they went through, and basically kind of estimated what the notes would be.
Uh-huh.
After I finished, they loved it.
Great.
The New Jersey Orchestra, and you know that was like a big thing for me. Because I said, if I can get through this, I might not be so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not bad at all.
That's what I'm thinking. I appreciate it. You know, listen, I don't pat myself on the shoulder.
When you're booked, are you booked as Brett Jolly's and the band, or are you booked individually as Brett Jolly? How is that?
Individually as Brett Jolly. See, one of the things about, you know, and the guys I play with, I love them like crazy. But, you know, sometimes, you know, like as musicians, everybody sometimes has different gigs that they have to do.
Okay.
So, you know, I would, my personal preference is to do the entire band. But if I do that, then it's almost like, you know, people might expect the entire band to be there. If the entire band can't be there, you know, then if they want Brett Jolly, I'll have a unit there that will work fine.
Okay.
You know, but the main thing is, you know, my name has to have that stigma along with it. You know, professionalism, you know, and you're going to get a great show. And that's the way it works for me.
That's your brand.
That's my brand.
That's good. Well, how did you get the hookup at the Clef Club? The other.
I got called for that one, which was kind of funny. T-Life, you know, who really we haven't talked that much. I mean, you know, T's a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy. But he said,
T.
yeah. Hey, he probably listening to me.
T.
Yo, T, what's up, man? You know the deal. So anyway, he called me and said, listen, you know, I'd like you to be part of this program. You know, we're honoring Thomas Buck Nasty. And I said, well, you know what? That's fine. You know, we can do that. You know, and my thing is, you know, when it comes to events of any kind, I go in there with the revelation that, you know, I'm going to make it work and support whatever way I can. You know, if they don't need me, that's fine. If they do need me, that's also fine. Whatever it is, I'm cool. So at one point, you know, I didn't have my band. He said, listen, you know, did you want to perform? And I was like, you want me to perform? He said, yeah. I said, okay, I will.
Okay.
So I talked to two other guys, a drummer and of course Shoe Baby on keyboard. I said, there are two songs that were easy to play. I said, let's do this, and we had fun. I mean, we enjoyed it like crazy.
I enjoyed it too.
Well, thank you.
And that night, that evening, Shoe Baby was supposed to do some things for me that evening. So he called me with a sad story. He said, sad story, Doris. I want to be there to help you. He said, but I got this gig. What gig? On what was it, a Tuesday night? I said, what gig?
It was a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday. He said, I gotta go to club, with Brett Jolly and T Life. So I knew he was telling me the truth because I knew T Life had invited me to that. So I knew.
Right.
So I said, well, go ahead. I'll see you next week. He was so happy.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
He was so happy.
She was a character. I love him like crazy. I really do. He put my name in some kind of directory.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. So I paid him some money for it, and then 2 weeks he said, "Listen, this is the directory. Your name's in it." I said, "Cool. All I need is $10." I said, "Wait, shoot, come on, now, come on, man. You already paid for this." I said, "Come on, you know better than this." I said, yeah. But he's still my boy. I love him.
But we're on. I'm working with him to try to update that directory because a lot of names have changed. People are not there and all that. But it's a great.
I'm sure it's a great
document.
thing. Yes, it's a great thing, and and of course, whenever you need my number, it's no problem. You know
okay.
That.
All right.
I mean, you sure have, but anytime you need it,
I have it.
Yeah, so we're good.
Let's talk about the new generation of musicians that are coming out. Let's talk about that.
That's a very good point. There are some still great musicians. And they're coming along the same way like I came along and some of the rest of us came along. The biggest problem that I have is not with the musicians themselves. The biggest problem I have is in terms of their inspiration, and the music quality that comes out now.
Here we go.
There you go. I mean, you think about it. I mean, back during my day, and I guess maybe I'm dating myself, and you can look at me and see I'm a little older than 13. All right. Yeah, a little older than 13. But we had jazz and stuff that we could play. We had stuff like George Best, we had Al Jarreau.
Yes.
I mean, all of that stuff we could play. Now they got I don't know, was it Kanye? They got songs with 4 chords in them.
Yes.
And you play that for like the whole entire song.
No changes, no nothing.
But that's the difference. Is you're talking about musicians as opposed to the singers or the rappers, someone who actually doesn't sit down and play an instrument.
Yeah, and that's
you're right, Gilman.
And that's a very good point. To bring you up to speed on that, like even some of the people who are established now, the new artists, if you're a musician, all you really do is you go there and you make pretend you're playing along with the track.
Yeah.
And I've had to do that. And I don't like
frustrating.
that. Yeah, I don't like that. It's like, you jamming. Me? Am I really jamming? Or is it the tape that's jamming? And I'm like saying to myself, okay, you know what? This is where I am. People know how I play. I said, but this is different.
He said it's worse than lip sync.
Yeah, listen, it's worse than lip syncing. But they all lip sync too, I mean, it's it is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's just what they're doing today.
That's what they're doing.
And you can't say it's not working because it's working.
Oh, it's working. If people don't know, then naturally there's no harm, no foul.
Right.
Now the question is, if somebody knows, I mean, I can only say from my own perspective, but if I knew that I was going to see an artist and he was going to lip sync the whole entire thing and the band was going to make pretend like they're playing, would I want to pay the money to see him basically play the record? No.
Right.
So they won't let people know, but the thing about it is it's happening a lot. You remember back in the day when if somebody had a sore throat, they canceled the concert?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Why doesn't it happen now?
Because they can play back.
There you go. They got it canned. The show goes on whether you feel like it or not. We just need to stand there.
But there are some younger creative musicians now that are playing.
They are great, and I'm gonna mention 2 that I've actually worked with. Matter of fact, I just came across 2 female bass players.
Okay.
One is named Jamaica.
Yeah, Jamaica.
She's very good. And I'm glad to see whenever she plays. She's fantastic. The other one is Trinka. Trinka Dorsey is her name, and she's phenomenal. and she's got a great voice to her as well. I'm hoping to be able to work with both of them. I did pictures on both of them not too long ago.
Yeah, I saw
But,
the pictures.
Yeah. One's getting ready to come out, but I have I would love more people to hear them because I think that they're phenomenal, and I think that given where they are in life, I think they're doing very well. And I want them to be a motivation to others as well.
Well, do you think that they are discouraged when they can't get gigs because of the track? I mean, how does that work for someone that's really trying to get it?
Each person is different. I can tell you that I think just about any musician at some point will feel a little bit of discouragement, whether it's from the track or whether it's from not getting enough gigs. It happens. There are up periods as well as low periods. The thing is, what you can do to differentiate yourself and basically promote yourself in different ways. I'm not just going to rely on my bass, even though it's doing well. It's doing very well, and I'm playing a lot. But I'm not going to rely just on my bass playing abilities.
This is good information.
Yes, whatever you do, make sure you get yourself to the point where if the bass playing doesn't, or the music playing goes through a little low, have something else.
Okay, have something else that you can do.
Have something else that you can do. Yes, yes.
Multitask.
Multitask.
Right.
Do as many things as you can do till you become Howard Hughes. You got all the money in the world. Whatever it is. Because
they're transferable skills.
Exactly.
Where they transfer. So if someone's playing a bass, maybe that person can read music. Maybe that person can teach others how to read music.
Exactly. You can teach it. You can do whatever it is you want to do. You're absolutely right. And that makes the biggest difference. Some musicians, they stay focused on one aspect of music. Yes. And that's it. That is, that's great. But it's not going to give you longevity. You have to be able to take what you have and make it expand. Songwriting, a very good point. Very good point. Recording. Like what you guys are doing here. It's a beautiful thing, and people need to know about it because people, they sometimes think that things are just one-sided. And and this is another thing, and I'm going to say this: don't get to the point where you're so dependent on others that your growth is stifled because you can't get them. If that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Right. Because you could be waiting for somebody else to do something for you, and you're sitting there. And you're still sitting. That's another reason why when we mentioned the singing thing. My brother was always great at singing. But he had a lot that he had to do. And I said to myself, well, I'm not a singer. I said, but you know what? I could wait for him, or I could start singing my own tracks. And I said, I'll do the best I can, and we'll see what happens. When you start out, you may not be as great as you think you are, but with rehearsal and practice, you can get better with time. You get better. Yes. Well, you're busy. Bill's busy. He's doing plays. He's doing all kinds of stuff. Sure. Do you get a chance to jam together, work together, write together? Do you guys get a chance to join together? We were just together this past weekend at something called the Mid-Atlantic Emmy Awards in Bethesda, Maryland. I says Washington, D.C. Yes. We were there, and we still work together. We're actually getting ready to do a show. We're going to open up for Spyro Gyra. Okay. Yeah. He gave me the date on it. I think it's July 19th? I hope I'm right. If not, somebody correct me. Right. Somebody. Okay. But whatever the case is, we're going to do that. We still do big things. We're at the Kimball Center, I think, like at least once a year. We were there last year with the Stylistics. Marilyn Davis, Billy McCool, and somebody else. I can't remember. But whatever it is, we do what we do. And one thing I like about the two of you is that no matter how busy you are, you always take time to help others. Oh, absolutely. I'm sincere with this because I've seen people that go to other producers, musicians, and they're turned away. They're turned away. I get a lot of those stories. But when we come to you and Bill, no matter how busy
no matter how bad we sound, you know,
you can count on us. We will do
you will help us, and that's a plus.
You all are good people that we've known for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't believe in backing out on you or anybody who is like you.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't think anybody's like you.
Okay.
But you know, just being realistic. You know, the thing is, you get a lot from what you give to others. What you invest in life comes back to you in another. I firmly believe that.
Yes, I do too.
You know,
I believe that.
I'm going to tell you a story. I had in September, I had a stroke. It was tough because I was walking the dog. My vision was blurred. It was like this, and I couldn't understand what in the world was going on. And I told my brother, I said, you know, I think I need to go to the hospital. So he took me to the hospital. They couldn't determine what was going on. Well, they said maybe I need some rest. They were going to send me home.
Okay.
But then at that point, I guess I fell out. Next thing I remember, I was on a
Bed.
yeah, and being taken to a room.
Yeah.
And I was jacked up. I mean, I was really jacked up. I couldn't move my right side. I was trying to say the word computer, and I couldn't say it. You know, but the worst part about all of that was seeing my kids cry because of how bad a situation I was in. So to make a long story short, because we won't go through it, but you know, after 3 days, I walked out of that hospital 100%.
God bless.
It was a blessing.
God bless, yes.
It was a second chance, and I know that. I did a gig that night.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I did a gig that night. My brother didn't know what could happen, so he said he's going to toss the most complicated tune he could at me, and he did. You know, and the truth of the matter, no, I couldn't play it, but then again, neither could he. So so he said, okay, well, I screwed this up, so you screwed it up with me, so we're all right. You know, but the thing was, you know, he knew at that point that I was cool. I've been playing like crazy ever since.
God bless you.
Oh, it's been a great thing. I still have to try to, you know, not do as much.
Yeah.
Try to de-stress there. I try to rest more, which I really have to do. You know, but I have to realize that after a certain point in life, you know, it's not the same. You can't.
I know.
Yeah, you have to take things right, and you have to look at the, you know, the positive thing. You know, I spoke to you remember Daryl Dawkins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before he died, I actually spoke to him in a mall. I saw him in a mall.
He used to come.
You know, and I saw how big he was. Of course, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing was, you know, I realized that, you know, he died not long after time. He looked well. You know, which led me to believe that, okay, you know, maybe what it is that after a certain age in life, you don't need to be huge. You don't need to be muscular. I mean, how many muscular 60 or 70-year-old people do you know out there?
Yeah.
That's moving stuff, picking stuff
That's
up.
right. Picking stuff up and doing all of that. Yeah, exactly. You know, so my thing is that, you know what, I want to be good. I want to be where I am. I want to be at the right place, you know, for what I'm doing.
My cousin Ronnie, he likes to say, it's nice to have young minions around.
And I'm gonna agree with that. Because I will make my son work like crazy.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm like, listen, it's snowly shoveling. Yo, Brett Jr. Yo,
There you go.
how you doing, man? Wake up.
How's your daughter?
My daughter's fine.
She's doing good.
Yeah, I have two of them.
Okay.
But they're both doing great. One's in last year of college, and the other one, Jasmine, she works with autistic children. You know, both of them are a blessing to me.
Are they in music at all?
But not really. Well, I can't say that they are, but not to the extent that I am. My youngest one, she plays guitar and she will sing. That's Melody. Jasmine, actually, you can remember this probably years ago. She sang on this commercial about Hershey Park. Hershey Park, happy Hershey Park. Glad so many things to see. Anyway, that voice was hers.
Okay.
She did that, but she also sang on stage with Michael Bolton and Celine Dion.
All right.
You know, but you know, she doesn't sing now, and I respect that. You know, I have no problem with that. You know, I don't want to try to push my kids into an avenue where, you know, if they don't feel it, don't do it.
Right. You got it. It's like anything else. It's really a hard field.
Oh, it is.
But it's a hobby, and usually, if you're really in it,
Mhm.
you can't hardly break that hobby. You know, you try your best. I've tried for years to find something to replace music, and I can't. It's there. It's there.
It's in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and that's why, you know, I always say to people, be who you are, be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could try to, you know, say, you know, I need to do this, you know, or I need to do that. But if it's not meant for you, then do what works. You know, nobody's perfect in this world. Nobody's perfect. You know, and you know, some of the things that you may want to do may not be what's best for you.
Not best.
I had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've learned, but you know, and I'm glad I went that route, because if not, it's tough trying to be a basketball player now. I don't think anybody would draft me. I
understand that.
I know Sixers missed on their chances.
I give you a lot
Too
of
bad
credit.
Sixers, right?
Yeah.
I give you a lot of credit in this sense that at an early age you knew what you wanted to do and you followed and stayed with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to, reality had to hit,
Mm-hmm.
and it hit hard enough where I made that recognition.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I said that because I took the other route, even though I love playing at the bass. The reason why I say at this age I'm still playing at the bass is because when I was at that age where I was really learning and making progress, I needed to make some money. So life took me to
another way.
Another direction.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm at the age I am now, retired, I'm going full circle and right back in the music where my heart is.
And I think you should, because if that is where your heart is, you owe it to yourself to follow where life leads you.
Dream.
You know,
I got a teacher like you around.
Hey, listen, no problem. All you got to do is give me a call. Listen, I have, you know my deal.
Yeah.
You can call me anytime you want. Of course, I can't guarantee.
Well, you know, are you still playing at Crab Tavern?
I am at the Crab Tavern every Wednesday night.
What time, Brett? What time?
It's from 8 to 12.
8 to 12.
It's funny you should ask that, because believe it or not, this one Wednesday, I will not be there.
Oh, okay.
This is one Wednesday I will not be there. I actually have to play in Atlantic City, and I'm gonna be there. But the next Wednesday after that, I'm gonna be back to it. But you know, it's great. It's usually packed. It's filled with, you know, to capacity. And if you don't get there early enough, you will not get a seat.
Are they still doing all those old dances like the cha-cha and all that there?
Listen, whatever we play, they will dance too.
They dance too?
Yeah, they will dance too.
They got a line dance for everything.
Lines dance?
Yeah, listen.
But
You gotta do
one thing I like about the Crab Tavern and you being there is that I can make a request and you can play it.
That's right. We take requests. We don't care.
So if you guys want to dance and sing and have a good time and listen to your music, you can go to Crab Tavern. Is it on Wednesday?
It's on Wednesday.
And you can make your request and it will be played.
It will be played. We've had some crazy requests. Somebody came in one time and wanted the theme from Gilligan's Island. You must be on crack. But you know what? We did it.
Okay.
And you know, and we have a little bucket there. So, you know, we want to request, put some money in the bucket. We'll play it. They put the money in the bucket. We said, you know what? We're gonna hit this joker. Just as sure, you know, whether it's something we played before or not. We had a gig the other day, and somebody wanted to hear this song, "Walking Down the Street, Watching Ladies." They put 100. They had 100. Right? Yes.
Walking down the street.
We never played it.
Street, watching ladies.
We never played it. But the guy pulled out $100 bill. Said, "You want this?" I said, "You know what? We're gonna hit the full. We're gonna hit the full out of the joker. I'm gonna beat Steve Arrington for this song here."
Do you still call that the Grand Slam?
Grand
You still
Slam.
call
Yes,
it
it's
the Grand
called the
Slam.
Grand Slam. And that night we're called the Grand Slam Jam Band. I gotta make sure I get that right. Yeah, Grand Slam Jam Band. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we have ourselves a lot.
So next Wednesday, Gilbert and we have to go.
Yeah, please
We have
do.
to go.
I would love to have you guys. I have some great musicians. And can I mention them real quick?
Yes, go right ahead.
I have Stan Brisbane on keys. I have Christopher Odom on guitar.
Okay.
I have Mookie on drums. I have Benny Barksdale on sax. Pam Renee is the host. What else is it? I'm probably missing somebody. Daniel Jenkins does the video. I'm Brett Jolly. You can give me a hand. Okay, well maybe not.
Okay.
But whatever it is,
Wait. Why does Mookie get one name?
he only wants one name.
Okay.
You know, and that's the reason. It's a personal reason which I can't get into.
All right.
You know, if you knew Mookie, you'd understand.
All right.
You know, he's a great drummer, and we're gonna leave it at that. That's what he wants. I'm like, listen, I don't have a problem with it. As long as you dare to play, we're good.
Let's give Facebook family and friends. Let's give them your address at Crab Tavern.
Sure. The address at the Crab Tavern is 201 North McDade Boulevard in Darby, Pennsylvania. It's in Darby, Pennsylvania.
And the time?
The time from 8 to 12. All right, you come on through. If you don't get there early, don't be surprised if you have to stand for the whole entire show, because that's what'll happen.
Okay.
All right, you know, we've had to place, capacity. I mean, to the point where it's like, you know, it's I can't even see everybody. You know, but people have loved what we've done, and we're doing very successful at it.
Okay.
You know, it's been a pleasure, you know, especially to work with the guys and do what we do.
Okay. Now, you know, changing the subject a little bit, I read about your ancestry report. Tell me, because I was kind of confused. Tell me about that.
I have, I did it, and my daughter actually asked me to do it. You know, to find out about your, you know, I guess it's your DNA and where they want to attribute most of your ancestry from. So, you know, I wasn't really hyped on it. I put a post out on Facebook about it the other day, but I did it. You know, and you know, paid for it, and I came back that I was 57% sub-Saharan African, 37% European, and a whole bunch of small stuff mixed in.
Okay.
Now, you know, I put a post out on Facebook saying about what I was, you know, and when it comes to, you know, ancestry, you know, and DNA, and of course, you know, racial profiling. You know, I asked the simple questions. You know, should I be hated because I'm 57% sub-Saharan African, or should I be loved because I'm 37% European, or should it make a difference? You know, I've read and heard so many things about racial discrimination, and the first question I want to ask, and I'm wondering, is whether or not those people who are doing it, do they know their full history?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they don't. So, you know, I'm like, you know, somebody's probably saying, you know, well, you know, I'm a member of the white race, you know, but he didn't even know all his ancestors to even make that claim.
Yeah.
But yet he claims it, you know, and what is his basis for claiming it? Because he looks white?
Yeah.
That's all it is. Because I got that light skin or whatever.
He could be blacker than I've ever been.
But one thing you did about, you summarized all the results, and you said like we're all of one.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You summarized that.
Right. One of the things that I mentioned was that, you know, it would be nice to get to the point where we are all so vastly different that we all are equally the same. Does that make sense? I mean, if you think about it, everybody's a mixture of everybody, and so we're all the same. There's really there are no more races. It's all gone.
Isn't that something?
It would be great if it hadn't been. And I summarized it by basically making a quote at the end, and I said, you know, as far as I know, you know, we're all the same color on the inside.
There's a movie, old movie back in the day called Bulworth.
I heard of that.
And in that movie, there's an old sister said something about, it was Bulworth that actually said it. He said, as far as the racial thing is concerned, everybody just keep making love. I'm not using that word. Everybody just keep making love to everybody, and after a while, you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, you better believe it. Everything will mix in, and it'll be. You know, the question is, but you know what? The question is, because they might actually be there now. It's a possibility it could be there now, but until the mentality, the thought that goes along with racial hatred, until that actually, you know, dissolves, we're going to always have that problem, because people are going to always think that they're better than us because of how they're born.
Yeah.
You know, that's not.
But even they were taught that from the rich.
Well, you're right. It's a taught premise that a lot of people will do that. The problem is, you know, whether it's correct or not. It's not correct at all. You know, and you'd be surprised at what can actually happen, you know, in terms of where they actually come from. So, the thing is, like, racial hatred is something that should not, you shouldn't even get into, because, you might be hating on yourself and your own family.
And when you go out there performing, you're accepted. Is that right?
I'm accepted.
And all races.
All races. I relate to them all.
Music is music.
Music is music, and they love music.
They love music.
Yeah, I've performed in countries where, there wouldn't be any.
They forget about everything, and they're dancing, and they're clapping, and they're having a good time.
I was in Tunisia, and they thought I was one of them. When I found out that I was a mountain away from Algeria where they train the terrorists, I said, yeah, I am one of you. Till at least I get out of here.
But can we look for a single album? I mean, your recordings. I mean,
sure you can. I'm actually working on that now, believe it or not.
Okay.
There's several things I'm trying to get done. Of course, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to finish everything, but I got a lot of tunes done. But just look out for Brett Jolly. I can guarantee you, it's going to be music the way music should be. And when I say that, it's not going to be like, like some of the stuff you hear nowadays, 4 chords and that's it.
In defense of the young folks today, when we were coming up, we went to school and we had what? Music appreciation.
Yes.
And we were taught how to read music, how to play music.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
These young folks don't and haven't had it in their school systems for decades.
Yeah.
Right?
They've gotten rid of it.
To give them a little bit of credit, because they didn't have anybody teaching how to play a clarinet, a violin, or a guitar or anything. The only thing that was left that they really didn't need to spend any money on, that they could actually do something with, was make a beat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, you give them the credit, they can make beats.
They can make a beat. Yeah, they can do that. You do that.
Yeah,
Now they give them a small portion of scale if depending. But go ahead.
But I do fault them on one thing. The lyrics are kind of rough.
Well, I mean, they are. But, you keep this in mind. Way back in the day, there was this article that I read. They talked about this new group during that time that was promoting the devil's music. They said the lyrics were corrupting the minors and everything else.
Okay.
Do you know who they were talking about?
Probably, what, Mighty Clouds of Joy or something?
No, they were talking about the Beatles.
I was going to say that so bad.
The
Yeah.
Beatles. They were talking about the Beatles.
Yeah.
Right.
Now if you compare the Beatles to what's going on now, I mean, it's not even a comparison.
No.
Right.
No, not at all. So, I mean, all of it's time conscious. I always believe this. For a lot of youngsters growing up, you can't take away music.
Nope.
You can't, because believe it or not, you'll be shutting the door on so many gifted kids. It's not even funny. Also believe this too. In terms of learning, something that I think is pretty big, and somebody will probably disagree with me on this. Comic books.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. Most kids do not like to read.
We did.
Yeah, well, wait, listen, and I'm with you. But one thing about it, I loved comic books when I was young.
Which one?
The Marvel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Marvel.
Let's get it right.
They had a lot of big words in there that I learned.
Yep.
Because they were in the comic books. So for me, when I was in school, I was probably I was a very good student because I could read better than probably everybody else. But that's because I read comic books.
You was reading Marvel comics, and you have a dictionary next to you.
Right? Exactly.
They threw some words at you.
You will look up the words to figure out what's going on with Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and everything else. You'll do all of that. But the thing about it is, and I'm not saying that every kid should have a comic book, but what I am saying is that there are different things that we need to look at. Right.
There's a lot of talent out there.
We need to look at whatever it is that motivates a child. It's really important. If that child is motivated, that's the best gift that child can have. When you put people in prison, they're there. There's no gift. Your money is paying for them, and when truthfully your money could be beneficial to educate them, to discover their gift.
Yeah.
And one thing we do at Simply Music, besides the studio work and all the things, we teach kids. We teach them how to play.
That's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And when I meet with people in your status, like you, Brett Jolly, who plays the bass, and Shu and Jimmy Lee and all this kind. I think about how together we could, put together workshops that can help our kids, because they some of them want to get into the music world.
Mm-hmm.
We got to advise them the best way to do that.
Absolutely.
They need to learn about
Absolutely.
publishing and copywriting. They need to learn all that kind of
That's
stuff.
important. And they need to know the business of
They
music.
need to know the music business.
Yes,
Right.
Because sometimes what you hear is not the full story.
Right.
You think about show, but there's a business.
There's a business behind it.
Show business.
It is not just about talent.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just about being able to play.
Right.
It's about being able to take whatever you do and make it marketable.
Yeah. Because back there in the olden days, a lot of us, we were so excited to get a record deal.
Right, we would sign anything.
And sign anything and turn around, and we didn't get a dime. We didn't make no money, because it was all ripped from us.
Exactly.
Because we didn't know. So
Didn't know.
these youngsters, the kids, the young adults that want to get involved in music, you got to learn the music business.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to learn it from someone like Brett Jolly, who's been in for many, many years.
And thank you. And keep this in mind. Music can be an avenue to any place in life that you want to go to. They say that most musicians are gifted mathematically. I mean, I'm not going to go through that.
But that's true.
But I believe
true.
that. I do believe
That's
that.
true.
I believe that. So that being the case, follow your dream. If it's music, then do the best you can do in music and make it work.
Let me throw this out at you.
Mm-hmm.
IT is my field and has been for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What I found out was that most of the guys that were programmers,
Mm-hmm.
about 85% of them played an instrument.
Yeah.
And what happens is when they were younger,
Mm-hmm.
they were taught how to read music. Learning how to read music, I guess, set their mind to think in a certain way so that when you talk about language, Cobalt, Fortran,
music is a language,
it's a language.
Yeah.
You've already got a propensity or whatever to go in that direction.
Yes, and that's and it's important to know as much as you can, and be able to apply as much as you can. Because the music thing, you got to figure it this way. Quincy Jones recently had comments about how Michael stole this and he stole that. I mean, to be honest with you, if he did steal it, he probably did what everybody else did.
Everybody else does the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing about it is, you don't have to rely on that. You can take whatever you know and you can make it work.
Okay. Now, how about I have a couple more questions? The songs. What are some of your favorite songs? Because in the interview, we always like to play when we do the broadcast on the radio.
Got you.
I have 2 songs that
I have some tunes that I absolutely love. One song is probably one that probably nobody has. There's a song by Eddie Kendricks called "Tell Her Love Has Felt the Need." Have you heard that?
You got that one, Gilbert? Tell her.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, I could get more what you call, but that's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Let's see. There's several of them. There's one, Jamaica by Bobby Caldwell.
Oh, I love Bobby Caldwell.
Yes. Oh,
but I
man.
like What
Great
You Do.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Great tune by him. Okay, I'm going to try to make it even more simplistic. One of my favorite up-tempo tunes is Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. I love Stevie Wonder. Just about anything from him is excellent. Higher Ground, I Wish. Vintage Stevie was great. But the main thing about music for me is that I love it all.
Okay.
If it sounds good, I don't care. As long as I mean, I'll listen to. I'm not a big fan of rap, but I'll listen to a rap song if it kills. There's a song by a group called Onyx called Slam. It's truthfully it's really stupid.
Okay.
But they're killing vocally on it, and I love it.
Okay. Well, Brett.
Check out Slam.
It's that time.
Brett, I just want to thank you.
Thank you
for coming out to Simply Music Indie and spending some time, Gilbert and I, and all your inspirational words to our youth, trying to get them involved in the music world and get them involved the right way, learn the music business.
Well, yeah.
Okay, because that's what we want to do.
And you guys are doing an excellent job of that.
Mhm.
I commend you wholeheartedly for what you're doing.
Okay.
You know, I mean, since I've known you guys from way back in the day, you
Mhm.
guys have always been
trying.
on the right page, doing things that help people as opposed to bring them down.
Okay.
You know, if we had more people like you, the industry wouldn't be as bad as it is today.
Okay. And I want to thank Facebook, family, and friends for joining in with us today. And the broadcast should be broadcast when?
Well, we will to be announced.
To be announced. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
And you put on my page.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Fred was on. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. So I told you, when it comes to interviews and stuff like that,